right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Uber Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. I'm really hoping this will be one of the last garage talks when we back out on that glorious deck of ours. But, alas, a little too windy. Temperature's not too bad, but the wind is pretty bad, and then the sun is setting rapidly. So we're going to have to wait a little bit of time before we be out on the deck again, enjoying that. What are we smoking tonight? It's kind of fun. I don't know if I've actually used this one before on the tonight or on these nights, but it's the McAdoo. This is kind of cute. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. This isn't. And it's a handmade espresso with cream. Kind of a sweeter cigar. It's infused, of course. You got that espresso coffee, a little bit of cream. It's one of my favorite types, of course. It's a barber pole. Well, this one's not as pronounced. You can still see the light and dark. The dark is what's giving it kind of that espresso taste, where the lighter one's getting a little bit of a creamier taste. It's not bad. I'm actually enjoying it. And I have had it before. Something new, though. The beer tonight. Donut Stop Believing. A couple of donuts there from Pigeon Hill. I've actually been liking the Pigeon Hill beers. They have some fun ones. They have some really expensive, like, hippie beers, too. I'm hoping this isn't one of those. Nice Pilsner look to it. Very nice, very nice. Good head, light beer. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm not really tasting that. What does it say? Just a Long John Ale, chocolate and cream filled, taking a night train down to Flavor Town. Yeah, I'm not tasting chocolate or cream filling or anything like that, but it's still pretty tasty. I don't mind it. So, again, welcome to EMS month. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're taking some time to share your stories, celebrate, get out there and have some fun with EMS month. Thank you to all the EMS providers. We're continuing on with story time here. Tonight's story, let's talk about Frequent Fliers. In case you guys don't know, you're not part of the industry, there is a type of patient called a frequent flyer. They call 911 a lot. Some of them have legit medical conditions that it's hard to see them. Usually they just deteriorate in front of your eyes and you get to bear witness as they do. Those frequent flyers can be pretty rough to deal with, to be the one who's treating them, especially the ones that go downhill. Now, I did have one who, she actually got better. Shock to all of us, actually, but she actually got better and improved her health, improved her life. Good for her. I've had the frequent flyers who are not so nice, the ones who are usually drug seekers, who see the ambulance as a way to get their quick fix. I've had the frequent flyers who do it more for the attention, to get attention, to kind of get someone to talk to. I've had others who are trying to game the system one way or another. Not really drug seekers, but maybe they're trying to get attention of their family members and whatnot. Whole host of reasons. I'm trying to remember a couple of the other frequent flyers. A lot of them I've seen who have chronic medical conditions, who their family or friends don't understand their medical condition. So when they have an episode, they call 911. We show up, usually sign them off. Now, mixed bag of grapes with these people. Every one of the frequent flyers, of course, I remember. I remember the really nice, polite ones who were just embarrassed that we had to come so many times their house. I remember the rude ones who would get belligerent when they saw me because they deduced they were not going to get any narcotics given to them. The ones who were thankful, the ones who were impactful, the ones who changed my life, the ones I'm pretty sure I changed theirs. Um, it kind of is the bread and butter type call. It's the one every provider is going to have. You're going to know some of these frequent flyers by name. Some even invite you to their kids' grandkids' graduation parties. That was kind of fun. I did get an invite. I think I sent a card to one. I did show up to another because the guy was pretty cool. And he was so excited that he was able to live to see his granddaughter that he wanted the team that kept him alive, that's what he used to tell us, the team that kept him alive to come see him. Yeah, kind of neat. So I was going to share just one, but you know what? I'm having a good cigar, good beer. It's kind of a nice, warmer night. Let's share two stories, two EMS stories, 2 for 1 tonight, right? More than you bargained for. So the first one, frequent flyer. I was a medic student, and we would religiously, every Thursday, get a call for a woman who blood sugar would drop, she would get disorientated, she'd start passing out, has a long-standing history of diabetes, and I mean, just repetitive. We kept getting calls after call. We'd wake her up. Sometimes she'd go in, sometimes she'd sign off. She'd be very embarrassed the whole time. After about, the third call, and she had troubles paying the bill because this service did send a bill. I mean, it was the fourth time. The fourth time we went there. I think we transported her twice and signed off twice. So she was having troubles paying her medical bill for the 2 times we took her in, which was pretty substantial. I think the sign-offs were free for that service. So anyway, the director of the ambulance department I was with goes and talks to her, sees what's going on. Well, it turns out Monday through, Friday through Tuesday, she has someone who can help her. She has home health care on Friday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday she doesn't. Thursday is when she'd have her problems. Saturday and Sunday she has her daughter who can come sit with her and basically just make sure that she eats, make sure she takes her meds, and whatnot. It's just on Wednesday, she kind of can do fine herself. It's just by Thursday, she's not able to get up as well. She's not able to remember her meds. She forgets to cook herself food, or she forgets to eat because she just kind of gets in this depressant mode. So the director, an amazing, amazing man, looks at the paperwork, talks to the woman, gets a good feel for the situation. He says, how about this? He says, you owe X amount of dollars on ambulance bills. And she's like, I promise I'll try to pay. I'm working with your billing department to get a payment plan. He says, you know what? Let's consider these bills paid on one condition. She's like, anything. Thursday morning, my crew is going to come over and you're going to make them breakfast. And she starts talking about how she has trouble making breakfast. He said, well, that's fine. They'll make you breakfast, but you're going to have a stocked fridge. Eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, bread, whatever. You feed my crew. And you do that for whatever time period, couple years, months, days, weeks, whatever. I think it was a few months. We'll consider your bills paid. She absolutely loved it. She loved having someone to look forward to coming over. I think every Thursday, one of the crews at about 8, I think it was 8, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, I want to say. We'd swing over there, and we'd cook her breakfast. We'd share breakfast with her. Got to know her, fried up some eggs and bacon. Some Trineri toast. Some Nisua every now and then. It would just be a good time. We would check her meds, check her blood sugar, make sure she ate, make sure she was taking care of herself. That was kind of a situation where the ambulance was, I mean, that's traditional. That's how it used to be, taking care of the neighborhood, taking care of friends and family. It's not just putting her in a home. It was, we did a little extra, sure. We drove out to her house. Sometimes we'd be on a call and the backup crew would have to take it, or sometimes the director would just drive over there if both crews were busy and get some free breakfast. It was good for us. We got a good meal once a week, which was pretty cool. Great for her because then it kind of helped her with her medications and helped her health because the diabetes, doing the insulin medication, or sorry, the glucose shots is really bad for a diabetic. The D50 or D25 we pump into her is not the best for these patients. It messes up their blood sugar for a few days, if not a week. Not to mention, it's pretty rough on the system. So she lived all through my time there as a student. I don't know if she's still alive today. I highly doubt it. I'm guessing after 20 years, she's probably quite dead. I don't know how long she lived for or how long that deal continued. I know they were working on trying to get her additional funding and additional certification to get someone there a little more constantly. But pretty cool. A lot of fun. Really showed me what EMS should be, caring about the community. Our boss could have just seen her as more of one of those cash cow frequent flyers. So we could have just had a guaranteed, because although her insurance would pay most of her bill, it still left enough that caused her some financial burden. We could have milked that, but instead he did what was right. Instead of paying the, however much the bill was, I'm not really sure, just some extra breakfast food, a few more eggs, a few more sausages. Her family absolutely loved it. They loved that we were doing this. We got lots of good compliments and thanks and whatnot. It was really cool. It showed me what EMS is supposed to be. Fast forward quite a few years, actually. Into my career, many frequent flyers again during this time. Some I liked, some I didn't. One was an interesting frequent flyer. This cigar keeps going down. It's kind of weird. I was picked up a girl who the mom thought she was having a massive asthma attack. Was just going to stop breathing. We run in there. I do my assessment. And I'm really good at dealing with the psych patients, as I've said many, many, many times in these videos. Quickly, I deduce, no, this isn't a psych patient. This is a panic attack. We still transport, but I had about 30 minutes in the back of the rig. I get her calmed down. I think I get her breathing, help her through the panic attack before we even leave her house. I sit down and start talking with her and treating her like a person. Listening to her, letting her just spout out what's going on, what's happening. Trade them some in-rig advice about life at that time. She had just moved to the area. She didn't have a lot of friends. She has always had anxiety all her life. And so I kind of gave her some pointers, talked about some clubs there were and different groups that I knew about and activities you could do and whatnot. And, I like to let my patients, it's a skill to be there for your patients, but not be there for your patient. I know that sounds kind of petty and oxymoronic, but we really, as providers, we have to show we care. You're the most important thing there, but you can't let these patients in past your defenses. You can't care too much. You can't get too involved with patients because, one, they're not your responsibility. They're their own responsibility. They need help from other people, and some of them can drag you down with them. So we definitely care about these people, but at a point we have to also care about ourselves. So we let them in so much, but definitely put up a very solid wall that they don't get past. So we don't like checking on them on our time off, or maybe becoming a friend them on Facebook. I've had a few patients try that, find me on Facebook and try to friend me. It's creepy as hell. Um, so again, you're there, you're available, but you're not available, and you're not there. It sounds weird. It's hard to explain unless you're in the profession. You do deeply care about these people, but at the same time, you can't let them in. Anyway, I digress. So she quickly realized that I worked every Friday night. Pretty much every Friday night, I'd work. And wouldn't you know it, her panic attacks always happen Friday nights. And she had this knack for knowing when I wasn't on a call. I have a hunch she had one of the 50 police dispatch radio apps on her phone, so she'd know if I was on a call or not. Because she had a knack for it. I call back in service, then all of a sudden 911, person not breathing well. I'd show up. I mean, I think like she wanted to go in half the time, and half the time she'd sign off. I'd just sit with her, me and my partner would sit with her and talk and try to figure out what's going on, be that ear she needed for someone to listen to. Again, she was younger. I think she was only 16 years old. But it was kind of nice. Again, she's one of the few frequent flyers, one of the few patients I probably let a little bit further behind the wall on my shield. I kind of knew some people in the community and kept tabs on her, see what was going on, maybe get a bit of a warning if she was going to have call us. It wasn't constant, it wasn't weekly, it wasn't even monthly. It was just occasionally when she needed someone to talk to. I remember one of the times, not the best family life she came from, I'll admit that. She called, get there for the panic attack, we show up. And I mean, like a light switch, the panic attack stops, but she still wants to talk. It turns out she presented a project in school and just killed it. Did an awesome job, and her family could give two shits less. They didn't care. They weren't giving her the affirmation she needed. She even admitted that she was faking, and she knew that I'd be excited for her to share some good news. She said, I'm always sharing the bad news when she'd have relationship breakups or trouble with teachers or whatever the case might be. It was cute. Inappropriate, yeah. Inappropriate in the way that, you tied up a rig, call him 911 when you really didn't have an emergency. Did I get it, though? Did I understand? Yeah, I did. Those two calls are what EMS should be. It really is. Any healthcare professional in general, but doctors and nurses are almost too much into the dark side. And that's not to knock all doctors and nurses. A lot of that is institutional, and EMS is heading that way. We have a disconnect between the community. There's a few areas that are hanging on, that still have that community involvement. We care about the community. We're helping. We're public health. We're actually there to help. But as you get more and more people who don't live in the community, don't live in the thick of it, you're starting to lose that. That is one thing I'm kind of sad. In the 20 years I've been doing EMS, I've seen a lot of things that I'm very proud of. The medics, proud of the technology, proud of the stuff we're doing. But we're losing that connection to community. In EMS, we go to you. We show up in your house. Raw emotion is shown when you enter into someone's house, into their safe space, into their defenses. It's powerful. And that's what we should be in EMS. We should be caring about the person, caring about the community. Doing this where if we know a patient is having a frequent flyer because, a good example, there was a gentleman, again, not my service, but it was made some regional news because this gentleman was trying to get in his house, was a wheelchair bound, didn't have the best ramp to his house, and they tried every charitable organization to try to get him a ramp. And finally, the ambulance department had a fundraiser, volunteer corps, true ambulance, true healthcare, volunteer ambulances. I know they get a lot of shit. The volley crews get a lot of shit. They don't deserve any of it. But they fundraised. They got him a ramp. And when talking to this guy, who they picked up and treated many times, they also found out that the cushion on his wheelchair was causing bed ulcers, and it didn't have it was the wrong incline or something, where it actually made it more higher probability he'd slip off. But they bought him a new one of those. I remember another one where the ambulance crew did a fundraiser to get a gentleman an insulin pump so that his blood sugar wouldn't crash. You don't see that. You don't see that. Again, not to knock doctors and nurses, but it's just not the same when you go into someone's house. EMS is about, should be, must be, has to be, in my opinion, about community. About wanting to actually help your fellow neighbor. And I'm sure doctors and nurses say that, but there's something different when you have 30 patients in an ER that you're taking care of versus one. You go to their house. You ride with them. The only one who gets attention is them. The only one you care for is them. It's a very strong connection. And we are losing that in EMS. I hate to say it. We're very much losing that sense of community, that sense of connection, that sense of, I am here just for you. You are a person. You're not a number. You're not a bed assignment. You are a person. And I wish we could make all medicine understand this, but I really wish there was a way that we could hold on to that with EMS. To grab onto that and not let it go. Because it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing that we do that. And it's an amazing feeling to be able to do that for these people. It's magical. But it's slipping away. I'm seeing it slip away in EMS. We're getting to the point where I don't know what we are anymore. It's sad. We're getting to the point where it's profit margins and it's billable hours and it's all those things you fear. You really fear that you don't want to see the EMS turn into. Something to work on, something to look into. Maybe we'll do some deeper dives into this topic because this is something I'm very passionate about when it comes to EMS. One of the reasons I love volunteering. I'd much rather volunteer than get paid. Because again, it's about community. It's about helping your neighbor. I've shared many stories about just helping random strangers on the side of the street. You don't see that in any other profession. None that I can think of, except maybe law enforcement. Law enforcement, some of those officers will carry cuffs and guns, and they see a crime, they help out. Something else. It's that mystery that got me into the field, and maybe they'll keep me here. Who knows? Anyway, I'm getting deep and philosophical, and I'm only halfway down my beer, so I can only imagine how much more this will go as we continue on. So I'll stop it here. I'll save you guys from getting into philosophical with me. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.